October 13th, 2005. The kind of evening where the air feels still, too still. In the quiet town of Waverly Springs, the sun had long slipped behind the trees, and the streets were painted in amber light. But as night fell, so did something darker. That night, 28-year-old Laura Kent vanished. Her car was found parked at the edge of Forest Trail. The engine was still warm, her purse untouched, her phone left on the seat. A jogger passing by noticed a dog sitting beside the vehicle, loyal, silent, waiting. When officers arrived hours later, they followed the sound of faint whimpers deep into the woods. That's where they found her. Laura was lying beneath a cluster of oak leaves, her body still and pale, her loyal golden retriever, Charlie, beside her. There were no signs of a struggle, no defensive wounds, no fingerprints, nothing but silence and questions. Detectives worked the case tirelessly at first. They interrogated her fiancé, the man she was supposed to marry in 3 weeks. He insisted he had nothing to do with it. He passed a polygraph. He broke down crying when they told him how she was found. Soon, suspicion turned toward strangers, drifters, even local hunters. But weeks turned into months, and every lead turned to dust. By 2006, the case was shelved. Another cold file in a small-town cabinet. Laura Kent became a memory whispered in church pews and grocery aisles, a ghost lingering in conversations that always ended with, "They never found who did it." Her parents refused to let go. Every year, they placed flowers at the trail where she was found. Every year, they asked the same question, who could have done this? And every year, there was only silence. Then, 2 decades later, a young detective named Erin Vaughn joined the Waverly Springs Police Department's cold case unit. She was drawn to unsolved stories, the kind that didn't just fade away, but screamed quietly from the past. Laura's case caught her attention immediately. A beautiful woman, no motive, no evidence, no closure. Erin reopened the file. Dust clung to the folders, the photographs faded at the edges. But something about the images nagged at her. The original investigators had overlooked a detail: 2 sets of footprints beside Laura's body. One clearly hers, the other smaller, uneven, like someone walking with a limp. They were faint, almost erased by the passing of time, but they were there. At the very edge of one photograph, Erin noticed something else: a partial shoe print pressed into the mud. It matched a discontinued model of work boots worn by local park rangers in the early 2000s. Curious, she dug deeper into employment records from that year and found a name: Richard Hale, a maintenance worker who often patrolled the same forest where Laura was found. He was never a suspect, never even questioned seriously. When Erin requested the old evidence box, it took days to find it, tucked away in a mislabeled storage room. Inside were Laura's personal items, her sweater, and a torn piece of rope found on her sleeve that had been dismissed as environmental debris. Erin decided to have it retested with modern technology. The results were staggering. The DNA on the rope matched Richard Hale. Hale had disappeared from Waverly Springs not long after Laura's death. Records showed he'd moved 3 towns over, taken odd jobs, and eventually died in a cabin fire in 2012. Ruled accidental. It seemed that the truth had died with him. But Erin wasn't finished. She went to the site of Hale's old cabin, now overgrown and silent. There, buried behind a rusted shed, she found something chilling: a small metal box corroded with age. Inside were photographs of women, hikers, dog walkers, and among them, Laura Kent. Each photo was marked with dates and times. At the bottom of the box was a locket with Laura's initials engraved inside. It became painfully clear that Hale had been watching her, maybe for weeks, maybe longer. He wasn't a random stranger. He was a predator hiding in plain sight. When the news broke, the small town of Waverly Springs went silent again. The same heavy, stunned silence that had followed Laura's death 20 years before. For her parents, it was bittersweet relief. They finally knew the truth. The man who had stolen their daughter's life was gone, but so was the chance at justice. Detective Vaughn later said that solving the case felt less like triumph and more like listening, really listening to the echoes time had buried. Because in the end, it wasn't a person who spoke up. It wasn't a witness who came forward. It was the forest itself, the ground, the photos, the fragments of truth that refused to stay hidden. The silent witness had always been there. We just didn't know how to hear it. Laura's case became a story of perseverance, of how even the quietest evidence can eventually find its voice. For every unsolved case, for every victim without justice, her story serves as a reminder that silence doesn't mean absence. It means we haven't listened closely enough yet. And maybe somewhere out there, another silent witness is still waiting to speak. If you found this story as haunting and captivating as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more chilling true crime stories just like this one. Because behind every cold case, there's a truth that refuses to stay buried.